All right, we're gonna get started here in just a minute. Just need to make sure that I am live on each one of these pages. Let me hit the go live right quick. Okay, there. All right. So let me get over here so I can share this out. You are tuning in with me right now, and never mind my background over there. Get my bag down. Never mind my background over there. They got the air mattress going. All right. But as usual, I'm going to go ahead and share this out. If you are tuning in with me right now, let me know where you're tuning in from as I share this out. And if you have been finding value from these lives and you would like to share this out, do share. And those of you who are not quite following me yet, if you'd like to go ahead and just hit the follow button and follow me and get the notifications and things like that. So when I get ready to go live or anything like that, you'll get those notifications, right? I'm going to go ahead and share this out. This is going to be good, as all the other ones are. This is stuff that will help you, in life, business. And most of this stuff is for you. It's for you to be able to navigate in any space, where you can navigate in any space. All right. So I'm just about done sharing this out. I don't know why this thing catches me in the weirdest spots when I'm sharing this out on my stories. It is crazy. Yeah, it got me froze over there looking. uh, can't change it. Can't change the look because I'm looking. All right. So let me see. One last share and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right. And if you are showing up because I invited you, thank you for taking my invitation. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing kicked off as I normally do. I go through, the topic of what we're going to be talking about on this morning is just a second. I need to fix something. Priority is not about what matters. It's about what matters now. Y'all catch that? Priority is not about what matters. It's about what matters now. So we're in the now. We're in the present now. So it's not what matters yesterday, what's going to matter in the future, but it's what matters now. And as I always say, my past and my future is in my present now. And so on yesterday, we began looking at intentional energy by noticing what actually receives our attention. And so on today, we will move into discernment because the difficult part isn't always recognizing that something matters. Sometimes several things genuinely matter at the same time. And the question becomes, what deserves priority right now, right? So what deserves priority right now? And so this morning on Quiet Queens Morning Live, we're talking about the difference between importance and priority why every good opportunity doesn't automatically belong in your current season, and how clarity helps us choose without making everything else wrong. Priority isn't declaring that only one thing matters, it's deciding what receives your focus energy now. And so, Quiet Queens Academy, we don't build louder, we build clearer. All right, and so we're gonna go ahead and get started here in just a moment. But what I wanted to say, and I say this on every last call, and I think I did not do it here. Let me just go ahead and type this in real quick. Um, do I even know? Yeah, there it is. So, if you would like to join me live, you can do so by clicking the live with me link in the comment section, and you can hop on and we can have this conversation together. Like I said, it's no pressure, but if you want to tap into the conversation, you are more than welcome to, and we can talk about it, right? And so, of course, this week we are talking about our theme for this week is intentional energy. Intentional energy. So that's what we're going to be talking about um, this week. And so it is, of course, August the 25th, 2026, y'all. The month is almost over. And so, and I am about to get ready to head out to Orlando, Florida. I'm excited about um, taking this trip. And however, I'll probably be sharing things in my story about, this experience, this trip. So y'all stay tuned. Just check, look, check for the stories. All right, check for the stories, and see what I got going on. Um, so, and there's of course, I just kind of want to bring up some things. There's some things that actually get ready to come as well. Um, and that is, I'll be it'll be updated on my page. There's going to be an event tab that's going to be on there because starting in October, that is the projected launch date for me to start doing start sharing what it is that I do. And if you're genuinely interested, then you can basically come in and see. I won't go into too many details because I'm actually getting that worked out, working on that as we speak. So that will be coming pretty soon. And so there's a lot of things getting ready to come with this whole, focus on, what I've been doing. And really, truly grateful for that. But just kind of want to give you a little update before we get into this topic. And so again, if you're joining with me, Divine Rising Quiet Queens. So yesterday we started talking about intentional energy, and I asked you to notice what actually receives your attention, not what you intended to give your attention to, what actually received it. And so today I want to take that one step further. All right, we're going to take that one step further um, because sometimes, excuse me, the issue isn't that we're giving our energy to things that don't matter. Sometimes everything in front of us matters. Your family matters, your business matters, your responsibilities matter, your health matters, your relationships matter. The things you're building matter, but everything that matters cannot occupy first position at the exact same time. So today, the question isn't, does this matter? The question is, what matters now? And so, look, we're gonna get into my reflection real quick here. I'm gonna get into my reflection real quick here, and now I'm just like really thirsty. I'm gonna get into that, and we're gonna move on through this. this conversation. And I mean, if you are in the discussion chat, then we'll talk about it there. All right, and we'll get your your takeaway or whatever in the chat if you are part of the chat. So in any event, so here's the reflection. My reflection is I've had to learn that choosing a priority doesn't mean I'm saying everything else is unimportant. That distinction matters to me because when you have multiple things you care about, it can be easy to feel like giving more attention to one means you're neglecting the other. But excuse me, but I've come to see priorities differently, right? Priority helps me decide, where my focus energy belongs right now. Something else can still matter. I can still care about it. I can still intend to give it attention, but I don't have to divide myself equally between everything simply because everything has value. And sometimes clarity sounds like this matters too, but this is what requires me now. So, and it's almost like, um, when I mean, I'm pretty much getting back to my normal, almost back to my normal. So, I started watching my little grandson. He's one, and so his mom, she worked overnight and things like that, and so now she has switched jobs. And so, but during that time, I was focused. That was priority, right? And that's what I gave my energy to. And I focused on it to make sure that he was taken care of from the time that she dropped him off to the time they came and picked him up. And so there was other things that mattered, and I still was able to do things. But I made sure that that was taken care of, first outside of myself. But just kind of an example of that. Not saying that everything went neglected, but the thing is, because I said, and that's another thing with me keeping my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it, right? And so, basically, I kind of delayed some trips because when I like to take my trips, I don't like to come back immediately. And being that, she worked, Monday through Friday. And if I take a trip, I'm gonna go either Thursday and I won't come back to that Monday or that Tuesday. And so being that I said I said that I would keep him, so meaning that I had to be back. And I don't like short trips. I like to be on extended trips because I don't like to be rushed. So I did delay some things, some trips and things like that I wouldn't take. And so now I'm getting back into my normal. Then I'll be taking these, going back on my what I call my excursions. But that was just kind of like a little example of, you know, priority, and what I give my energy to, and what what matters or what required me at that moment. So that was one of those things that required me at that moment. And so what we're going to do now is get into the core of the conversation, right? So the first thing is when everything matters, everything can start competing for first place, right? And so so have you ever looked at everything you needed and or wanted to do and thought, all of this is important. And because all of it felt important, you've moved between things. A little here, a little there, respond to this, start that, return to this, think about think about something else. And by the end of the day, you've been active, but you're not sure what actually receives your focused attention, right? The issue wasn't that you didn't care, it may have been that you've never decided which important thing deserved priority. And that's interesting because it's like, me yesterday, I was, setting up my scheduling out all my posts and everything like that. And so, but I needed to do something else that was really important. It was priority, which was go check on my aunt. But before I went to do that, I mean, I had already started, doing the scheduling, so I wanted to finish that because not saying that my aunt was not important, because my aunt is very important, and that she is priority. But I had already started this task right here, and I wanted to finish it before I went over there because I did not want to be distracted when I went to go visit her. And so I was able to get, take care of the scheduling, and then basically get over to my aunt, and they had my undivided attention, right? So I was able to enjoy my aunt and my uncle, the time that I was over there. So when we talk about priority, not saying one is, more important than the other, but they all are important. But you just got to decide which one required your attention right then and there, because scheduling my post is part of, my DMO, my daily method of operation. But that's not something I do every single day. I do it once a month, depending on how often they'll let me, up to the point where I can, how let me say, just like Facebook will let me schedule it out, because I already have schedules already set up. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the second thing. Is sometimes we choose what is loudest instead of what is most important, right? The notification is immediate, right? The request is immediate. The message is sitting there. Someone wants an answer. A new opportunity appears. Those things can create a sense that they should move to the front simply because they arrive. But arrival does not automatically establish priority. Sometimes becoming visible doesn't automatically make it most important. And sometimes being quiet doesn't make it less important. Some of the things that matter most in our lives will never send us a notification. So some of the things that matters most in our lives will never send us a notification. So, meaning that just because it's automatic, it does not mean that it is priority, right? It doesn't mean that it's priority. It can wait. It can wait, right? So let's get into the third thing. Importance and priority answers different questions. Importance asks, does this matter? Priority asks, where does this belong in relation to everything else that matters? That's a different level of discernment. If your answer to everything important is, I need to focus on this right now, you have actually prioritized. You've identified importance. Priority requires comparison. What have I already committed to, not communicated, but committed to? What requires attention now? What can wait without meaningful consequences? What support what supports the direction I've consciously chosen? And what would receive less of me if I said yes to this? The last question matters because every yes allocates something like time, thought, attention, energy, presence, right? And so let's get into the fourth thing. A good opportunity can still arrive at the wrong time. A good opportunity can arrive at the wrong time. So this is where this discernment becomes important. Sometimes we assume that saying no or not now means something wasn't good, but those are different conclusions. An opportunity can be good, an idea can be good, a collaboration can be good, a new project can be good, and you can still decide this doesn't belong in my priorities right now. You don't have to make something wrong in order to decide it doesn't belong. This is part of clarity. The Academy's Clarity and Discernment pillar specifically teaches decision making without manufactured certainty will distinguish, alignment, impulse, conditioning, priorities, and energy allocation. And that brings me back to, a good opportunity can still arrive at the wrong time. And before I got into the business that I'm in right now, I was already in one. And it seemed like, and the opportunity was a good opportunity. And I did say no, not right now, because it was not the right time for me, because I was making some transitions, or figuring some things out in the one opportunity that I was already in. And not saying that the previous opportunity that I was in was not a good one. It was just some things that was not in alignment, that I made a decision to move from that one to the one I'm in right now. And everything was going great over there. It's just that it was certain things that didn't take place that should have taken place. So meaning that it helped me to make a decision over here to this great opportunity. I say it's great. I mean, in my perspective, because it is. Um, and so now here I am. So I mean, so like I say, a good opportunity can still arrive at the wrong time. And so at that time, it was the wrong time. And so, what about 6 to 8 months later, I was able to transition from the previous one to the one I'm in right now. So, but anyway, that was one of the things that happened to me that I actually experienced. You know, a good opportunity arriving at the wrong time. And so now let's get into the fifth thing is give priority a decision filter. When several things matter, don't only ask which one is important. Ask which one requires my focused energy now. Then consider what have I already consciously committed to? What happens if this waits? What gets displaced if I move this forward? Does this support the direction I'm intentionally building? You're not looking for a perfect answer. You're creating enough clarity to choose. And once you choose, allow the choice to guide your attention until there is reason to reconsider it, right? And so that's where discernment begins becoming movement, because we want to move, right? We want to move in what is priority now, not later, but now, right? And so, and this is what I like to do. I mean, if you are tuning in with me right now, or if you are watching this on the replay, think about the things competing for your attention right now. Maybe several of them genuinely matter. Instead of asking which one you can somehow fit in, ask if I could give focus energy to one of these first, which one would make the most sense for what I'm responsible for and what I'm intentionally building right now. So notice what comes up, and then notice whether your current attention reflects that answer. All right. And so here is a practical takeaway for you on this morning. So the priority filter. So when multiple things matter, ask 4 questions. Okay. 1, what have I already committed to? Start with existing responsibilities before automatically adding something new. 2, what actually requires attention now? Separate immediate importance from something that can appropriately appropriately wait. And three, what gets displaced if I say yes to this? Every yes uses capacity somewhere, right? And so 4, does this support the direction I'm intentionally building? Not every good option belongs in your current direction. Then decide now, later, not mine. Remember that? Almost like now, later, not now, later, not mine. You are not labeling something good or bad because we don't activate duality. You're deciding where it belongs. All right. So, in closing, quiet queens. Yesterday we noticed what receives our energy, right? And so on today we became more intentional about deciding what, deserves priority. And I want you to remember this: You don't have to make something unimportant in order to decide that something else matters more right now. You don't have to make an opportunity bad because it doesn't belong in this season. You don't have to divide yourself equally between everything you care about to prove that you care. Priority isn't about caring less. It's about directing your energy with clarity because the life you're intentionally building requires more than knowing what matters. Eventually, you have to decide what receives what receives you first. And that decision doesn't have to come from pressure, right? Because we don't do pressure. It comes from discernment. We discern. We don't build louder, we build clearer. And so, that, my friends, my quiet queens, that concludes the morning live, Quiet Queens Morning Live. And if you found value in this conversation and if it, resonated with you, share with me what stood out to you. You can do it in the comments. And like I said, if you are in the discussion chat, you can share it there. But again, I want to thank you all for tuning in with me on this morning, and I will see you on tomorrow with another episode of Intentional Energy. So, with that being said,